so I probably won't yap too much at the start. So let's just go ahead and get into it. This is a Chaos deck, which, if you know anything about GOAT, this is like the classic meta GOAT deck. Also, I guess I should say, if you don't know what GOAT is, it's a retro format in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's one of the old Yu-Gi-Ohs, like kind of what you think of when you think of like old Duel Monsters era Yu-Gi-Oh! It's kind of GOAT, named after Scapegoat. Funny enough, I'm not playing that card, but so yeah, that's what it is. And the Chaos deck is kind of like the classic light and darkness, like meta-ish deck. Although this isn't like a super meta build of it. I did have a Chaos deck when I was a kid, which obviously was a lot worse than this, but that's kind of what I used as like a basis. I wanted to include some cards I really liked and, just play for fun, so that is the background here. And we have one BLS. When I was younger, I also had the Dragon. I don't think it was a real copy though, although my uncle had one. But that's banned. When I was a kid, I didn't really care or know, but now, obviously, can't be doing that. But I do have 3 Chaos Sorcerer. This was one of my favorite cards growing up, and one of the main reasons I decided I wanted to build this deck now, just to have play-friendly games, was because of Chaos Sorcerer, because I just really like this card. It's super nostalgic for me, and I do have 2 copies of like the older, some older copies. I believe this is Invasion of Chaos, first edition. It's a common, so it's not really like worth anything, but it's one of my childhood cards. So. And then it wouldn't be a Chaos deck without 3 Thunder Dragon. Like, that's just a requirement. And then we have DD Warrior Lady, Thunder Nyan, Reflect Bounder, Winged Karibo, and Magical Merchant. Some of these cards are good, some of them are not so good. Like Winged Karibo is not that good of a card, but I'm a big GX fan, and going with the nostalgic theme of the deck, I felt like I had to include it. And I would say the rest of these light monsters are good cards. That's it for the light monsters. Now for the dark monsters, we have a Kaiku, a Dark Blade, a Dekoichi, a Don Salug, a Sangan, Cyberjar, and Spirit Reaper. Again, some better and some worse cards. I think the standout one here is these 3 are kind of like odd picks. These 4 make sense, right? But these 3 are kind of odd. Dark Blade is again nostalgia, but it's also like an 1800 normal summon, which in GOAT is like pretty good sometimes. If you can stick that with like some traps or something behind it, it really helps. And these I got out of the Speed Duel box that I bought years ago, and they're like very pretty secret rares. But they're actually not bad. This is Flip Draw 1, and then this is when it inflicts these effects, you can discard a random card from their hand, or send the top 2 cards of their deck to the grave. I don't think I've ever used the second effect, but the first one, hand looping them for 1, is like pretty good. Pretty situational that you can actually use it, but I just think those cards are cool, and I wanted to use them, so I threw those in. And then this is actually a misprint. Kaiku. I don't know if you can see it, but right about there is where the foiling stops. And then down at the bottom, you can see it kind of extends past the art. I didn't notice that until very recently when I was going through some of my old cards, and this is a good, like, chaos go card anyway. But once I saw the misprint, I had to put it in here just because it's so cool. And that is it for our monsters. Now for our spells, some classics and then some unconventional ones. We have 3 Book of Moon, just a classic go card. Then we have 2 Upstart Goblin, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, MSD, Heavy Storm, Tribute to the Doomed, Bait Doll, Snatch Steal, 1 Nobleman, and then a Ruryoku. I think that's how you say this spell card name. I actually am not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but that seems close. So yeah, like I said, some classics here, but a few unconventional, like nostalgic picks. So the 3 Book of Moon just makes sense. Like, it's GOAT. This card is really good in tons of situations. It's even like not even bad in modern still, in some formats. I'm playing a lot of draw cards because I want to be able to find my Chaos Sorcerers and my BLS. I wasn't playing like the 2 Upstart at first, but then I kept running into like issues where I couldn't find the cards that were actually like good and can win the game. So I added those, and it's a little bit better, I guess. Snatch Steal, good removal. Nobleman, good removal. Although I'm only playing 1, and you can play 2 in GOAT. That's just for space and to fit cards that I like more. More removal. Bait Doll, I think, I don't see it super often in like tons and tons of lists. Not that I look at that many GOAT lists to begin with, but it just helps force out like traps and spells that are set to remove them, which is like half the problem of GOAT. It's not usually the monsters that are the issue, it's usually the spell and traps. So I thought I really like this card. So Tribute to the Doom, another classic. And then this is Ruryoku. This is like another one of my favorite GOAT cards, and I have a pretty cool secret. If you don't know what this card does, I'll read it real quick. Until the end of the turn, decrease the attack of one monster by half and increase the attack of another monster by the same amount. So this was obviously before problem-solving card text, but basically it just lets you run over any monster, which is cool, and it's kind of a fun way of removing monsters without like just destroying them. cards that you could play that are better, but I like that card, so I'm playing it. Now, for the traps, 3 Compulse, 1 Sakuretsu Armor, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, and 1 Judgment. I think these are pretty standard. There's no Ring of Destruction. There's no trap holes, no bottomless. But these are some of my favorite traps. And Compulse is another one of my favorites. And that's why I'm playing 3. Plus, I think it's also not bad. Like, there are some situations where this is better than like a bottomless or even a Ring of Destruction. So I think overall it's not bad. I think the deck is not the greatest. I don't think it's bad. And it's really just fun. Like, that was my whole goal of making the deck, was for it to be fun. Because it's GOAT. Like, I'm not trying to win any GOAT tournaments or anything. I don't think I've ever actually played in an official, like, GOAT game. Really, it's just playing with friends, or, like, before playing Modern, like, Advanced, or just, like, as a fun alternative. It's always a good time to, have a few drinks with your friends and start off with Advanced, and as you get more and more impaired, you kind of switch over to something more simple. And it's nice to have a few GOAT decks to be able to do that with. So, since this video is very short, going over the deck, and I personally I appreciate more when ASMR videos are a little bit longer. Than 10-15 minutes. Although there are some incredible ASMR videos that are that short. I try to keep mine a little bit longer, just because it's not my favorite when I find something that I'm really enjoying and it's over in 15 minutes and I haven't had the chance to fully relax or anything yet. So, because it's so short, I think we're gonna do some hands. I'm just gonna shuffle, draw some cards. I guess talk how I would play them out, but let's go ahead and do a half cut. I have my mat upside down for you guys. The Sky Striker mat. So we'll just kind of do that. So first, Kaiku, Thunder Dragon, DD Warrior Lady, Heavy Storm, and Compulse. And then our 6th card is Magical Merchant. Honestly, this is pretty good. I think going first, I would probably set the Magical Merchant, set the Compulse, and then use the Thunder Dragon to go get 2 more. That way, when I can flip the Magical Merchant, hopefully it makes it back to my turn because of the Compulse. Like, hopefully I Compulse what my opponent has, flip the Magical Merchant, mill the BLS, add the bait doll to hand. Having to get rid of that sucks, but it is what it is. So overall, first test hand, not bad, not bad. super relaxing. I also find it beneficial if I'm learning a new deck or like trying to improve or learn new combos or anything. I feel like I'm a very like hands-on person in that way, where I think I learn better with the physical cards versus like a simulator. Let me know if any of you guys feel the same way. I feel like that's not super common, but I don't know. Let's do a third cut this time. We'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Chaos Sorcerer, Thunder Dragon, Graceful, DD Warrior Lady, Chaos Sorcerer, and Tribute to the Doomed. That is pretty good. I would obviously activate the Thunder Dragon first before I use a Graceful, but then I would activate Graceful, draw 3. Well, that doesn't really help. But I'd probably discard a Chaos Sorcerer. I'd probably discard a DD Warrior Lady. And I would keep these in the hand. And now I could choose to summon PLS or the Chaos Sorcerer. So that is not another bad hand. So I know I said I'd probably do 2 more, but I am recording on my phone and it's almost dead. And I really don't want to have it die while I'm trying to record and have to record the end later. So I'll probably go ahead and call it here. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you who tunes in. And I know I'm not super consistent with posting videos, but I'm trying. But anyway, thank you guys. I hope it was relaxing.